it's time for us to move into our next match, where we're going to be moving to match 3 of PA Gods against Jelly, which is played on Clutch of Annihilation, a map based off the Supreme Commander Seaton's Clutch. So there's going to be a mix of naval, land. I expect to see some teleporters. This is actually a really good map for teleporters.
Settings is one of those maps. Everyone sort of loved it for Forged Alliance, and it can be quite good fun. We've got that single narrow choke point, and it becomes sort of a war of fronts where you just pile units into each other, and that is very much in the spirit of PA, where build more. If 10 isn't good enough, build 100. If 100 isn't good enough, build 1,000. That sort of mentality.
Well, it has an interesting variation on the way that obviously works in Supreme Commander, because Planetary Annihilation works on globes. Obviously, there is backdooring, which was not possible in Supreme Commander, where forces would clash on the causeway, and there'd be naval on one side, air battles on the other. But it's not how it plays out in Planetary Annihilation. You've got to really watch your rear shore, because it's so easy for another team to bring some amphibious docks up there and be raiding, or if a teleporter gets placed down there, and that's when you can really run into trouble.
Or even worse, slammers.
See, with subs introduced now, I'm not sure if slammers have the power they used to have, because it used to be there was no really big torpedo. There was no big torpedo counter to subs. Torpedo counter to slammers, and these days there's a tier 1 counter. I expect to see a lot of docks coming up from the shore though, because the metal is really. It's all in threes, but it's really spread out. The map's bigger than it looks. The land is bigger than it looks, and there's a lot of opportunity for docks to swarm out out of the sea and to rush up onto the shore. But there's lots of different ways of playing this map. You can do docks raiding on the shore. You can go for heavy air to just try and dominate all the maps. You can come with navy around the edges, because almost all the metal is by the shore. So owning the sea again can help you own the eco. But I'm very really interested to see how the teams play this, because I think there's a lot of different ways to tackle this map. And in actual fact, it's actually metal light compared to the maps we've seen so far. I think there's only about 85, 86 metal points on this map. And a lot of it is at the ends of the islands rather than in the causeway and the centre.
I've not actually seen this map in play before, so I'm certainly interested to see how they've adapted it for PA.
There's a small island over to one side where there's a few metal spots there as well.
As per,
and that can be a bit of a decider if it gets claimed early on, but it's very hard to hold because everything can hit it: air, docks, navy. So it's quite tricky for any one team to hold on to that. You'll see that change hands quite a lot.
I'm actually looking forward to this one. The fact that these guys have gone 1-for-1 versus PAG, and the fact that we've seen them playing already this tournament, and I think they have got some interesting tricks up their sleeve, these two. This should be a really, really fun game to watch, especially on this map, I think.
Yes, I think this is. We could potentially see two very different styles, and I think if Alpha likes his teleporters, he's going to break out his teleporters here. I wouldn't be surprised to try and see him sneak a teleporter around the back.
Yeah.
There's golden opportunities for that. I've had people that not exactly Uber League play here. I had someone actually build an entire proxy base on one shore. We didn't notice it until very late on. It was a sad. We Hulkensed it back into the ocean, but it was a sad day for us. And the fact that it got built in the first place, that someone's managed to build a base and you haven't even noticed. You just don't realise sometimes just how big this map is.
Lesson learned, then, I guess.
Yes.
You won't do that again.
Well, it hasn't happened again since then.
Okay.
Much more careful about building radars.
That is how we learn, though. We learn from our mistakes.
Well, last time I played, I instead got navied to death. We completely lost the naval game. We owned the land, and it wasn't enough. The naval was so powerful because all the metal is on the shore that if you just go docks, nothing but docks, then that's not enough. The players are just getting themselves ready now, so we'll shortly be going into this third game of the semi-finals between PA Gods and Jelly. So it's currently PA Gods 1, Jelly 1. This is going to compete for their place in the finals against Techno Trousers for a $200 prize. Who are you favouring going into this one, TheWrongCat?
I am putting my faith in our burning fellows, I think. Alpha and Smith Force.
You think Jelly
I think Jelly, team name was there, but it wasn't coming to me on demand. I reckon Jelly have got
I'm thinking
catch Pag on the back foot.
Well, I'm going to say PA Gods. I'm thinking that PA Gods have got this one. I think that they're just. I think there's a slightly better team. If they bring the game, I think it's gonna. I think this one's really going to favour some good airplay, and I think it's going to be air and naval. And I think Eladea and Klops are air and naval people. Eladea plays a lot of naval games. He's got a really good grasp of how to play the naval game better, I think, than anyone else in PA, and that's going to be a real deciding factor here. And Klops is just a master of the air. Perhaps not as decisively as would turn the game, but I think that Eladea's knowledge of the naval is gonna bring this home for Peg.
What about if they catch them off guard with the teleporters? I think we've fairly well established that our friend Alpha is the master of teleporter play.
He might try for a teleporter. I don't think Peg can get away with it. I think the map awareness is too good. That sort of thing works against me because my map awareness is not that good. I don't think it's going to work against Eladea and Klops. I think they'll spot it and I think they'll bomb it to oblivion. I think that kind of play, they'd be better off if they want to do that. They'd be better off just bringing docks up from the shore, I think. And really, I suspect we're going to never lock it down. But like I said, there's a lot of different ways of playing this, so I'm going to be very interested to see how they do it.
Let's have.
But we are now moving into this. So let us move into this third game on the planet of YOLO. Yep, we see there 86 metal, so quite spread out, but all very shore-based, as you can see.
The map is absolutely gorgeous.
Let's have a quick look around this map. And so we see here, so a metal, long stretch of land through the centre, but unlike Supreme Command, obviously, sphere. So you've got this you've got these ways around the back. So actually, at the back of both bases, very accessible. You can run docks across there. Your navy can just move over and shell the back of the base, and you've got the side island as well. There's a fairly good amount of metal. You can take that, but it's tricky to hold it. The causeway is not as significant as it would have been in Seaton's Clutch. Where that was tend to be where the focus of the fighting could often happen, and the navy would shell there. But I don't think you see many tanks. I think you more likely see docks. So the causeway itself not so significant.
It doesn't help when one of the main fighting units in the game is in itself amphibious. There were significantly fewer amphibious units in Supreme Commander, of course, than there are in PA.
Strange start from PA Gods there, where they went for a metal extractor before factory from one of their commanders. We're seeing bot and air, and I think we're seeing bot and air from PA Gods 2, which we are. No big surprises. One of the commanders I'm thinking is probably Klops, burning a lot of air factories. Vehicle factory though, so I'm going to try and make some pushes right down the centre. Be interesting to see. I haven't seen the centre be a huge focus in any of the games that I've played on this map. It tends to focus more around the shores, either through bot and docks invasions or through naval engagements, and the centre becomes a much smaller skirmishing area. People trying. Oh, an early Pelican coming out here from PA Gods as well. I suspect that's going to be used to try and make a grab for the side island.
Where's it going?
And we're seeing a tier 2 air rush here by Jelly.
What?
Yeah, tier 2 air rush. They've gone straight for tier 2 air, and PA Gods are going to scout this very quickly.
No way.
No, they haven't. They're moving the scout away. They found the air fabber, and they are moving back. Oh, good lord.
What is this?
They're going to pick off the air fabber. Gonna see
this.
It's
It's not seen it. It's not seen it.
You haven't seen it! Oh, good God! Oh, my goodness. That is a massive intelligence blunder for PA Gods. Massive intelligence blunder. This tech rush by Jelly.
Oh, my goodness. I can't believe they're doing this.
Both teams moving into a tree economy now to try and power this. So we're going to see fairly equal eco. Lots of airplay, it seems like. This is going to be a heavy air map. The question is this an eco rush tier 2, or is they going for the Phoenixes to shut down the air game early?
Oh, I've never seen anything like this.
Tier 2. This is a bold player. I love it.
Tier 2 by 3.5 minutes.
Well, we're back in beta. We're back in the beta, folks.
This is back in beta. This is
gunship rush territory.
I'm actually feeling nostalgic for this sort of play.
We just need to have a factory doing nothing but making fabbers.
Here comes another plane. Is he gonna scout? Is he not gonna scout?
No, he's just skirting around the edges. He's checking for air fabbers. That's what he's doing. The PAG are checking for air fabbers all around the edges here.
They're not gonna find any. Not yet. Not unless they're tier 2 air fabbers.
And we see that they've dropped off a bot fabber over on the island, starting to get their anti-air up now to make their claim. But Jelly don't care. Jelly are going for the Phoenixes. Does seem like there's going to make a hard push for air dominance. I'm not sure that's going to pay off for them. I think Hummingbirds can be cost effective against Phoenixes. Depends on how they fire, but not sure it's going to get them to the edge they're hoping for. Might just put them behind economically, but their tree economy is doing well as long as they can hold those combat fabbers.
The thing is that the tree economy makes it very difficult to see exactly how your economy is doing and how it's being affected by what you're doing. So I feel like that early factory really ought to have punished them, but because they've got 4 combat fabbers reclaiming trees as they go, it's probably not punished them as severely as it ought to have done.
And we see a teleporter going down. There's no end point for it yet. I'm not sure what the plan is with that teleporter. We see a pelican coming out. It's going to be picking up a fabber. Going to be making a drop somewhere. Going to be picking up I guess we're going to see where that teleporter is going to go when we see that pelican land. Docks coming down the middle causeway now from PA Gods, starting to make their first minor land push, but it looks like this is going to turn into a big air war. I don't think PA Gods have engaged with anything. Oh, that pelican flying right by those fires. Did he get scouted? No. Yes. I think they've seen it. They haven't found him. Oh, he might just... But he's going to fly straight into the ground anti-air.
Oh.
He's escaped the fighters. Cops blames the Pathfinder for not shooting it down because those planes are going into formation when he's moved them. Oh, he's... What is this Pathfinder doing?
There are gunships in here as well. From the Team Jelly. And now...
Oh, yes, they have. They've gone for the gunships, but can PA God see them? They can see a fighter. Oh, there we go.
Does PAG even know? Does PAG even know that they've got on T2?
Now they do. Now they've seen it. They've spotted it. There's a ping gone down. That gunship is picking off their mechs. This is just beautiful. But they are massively...
These combat fabbers are going to get caught by the gunships.
Oh, huge area. They need to get out of range of the commander, though. But yeah, take those.
There we go. More combat fabbers going down. Another two combat fabbers. Come on.
And third one's going down as well. All the combat fabbers down. They need to not fly over the commander, though. That's not good. Don't fly over the commander. Move away from that. But they need to. Yeah, they've got to. These are key moments for Jelly now. This is where they're going to really turn the eco around. We see their own combat fabbers getting bombed now, but Phoenix is coming out to drive that force away. This is, they're really on a knife edge for Jelly now.
High stakes, really high stakes. This is all or nothing for them on this T2 air.
They're fully committed. They're now coming onto the island as well. They've moved their docks in. They've got their fabbers, but they're bunched up, and bombers are coming in. They need to split those out now, or they're going to lose it all. Oh, they've just got bumped by some docks as the bombers came in. But they're not moving them. They are going to get themselves all killed because they're flying a Phoenix over, but it's way too late. Really should have been more on the ball. You're sending stuff for a teleporter.
Desperately trying to avoid those bombs. Desperately trying to micro away from those bombs. One left.
Yeah, just reclaiming some trees with him now, I think, just to make use of him while he's still there. But really, if you go through a teleporter, you've got to be prepared to do something on the other side immediately. That was a total waste of those fabbers and docks. They're sending more docks through, but they're just going to bunch up and get bombed unless they get in the patrol. And they don't. They're sending troops through to their death. Do not know why they've not got someone on the other side. You know you're rallying troops through. Get someone over there to immediately move those units. Give them a patrol.
Phoenixes just not cost effective at all.
They come out about even with Hummingbirds, so they're not as big an advantage as you might think rushing them. And we see the number of Hummingbirds that are out there now really looking like this gamble isn't paying off. The eco advantage is heavily in PA God's favour.
They're not expanding to follow through on it. They're just putting everything into aircraft. They're not expanding the eco at all. Yeah, they were hoping to catch them off guard, and they haven't.
It feels like they haven't necessarily tested this against a heavy air player, because then they would have seen that these Hummingbirds are not going to be. These Phoenixes were not going to be the substantial advantage they thought they were. But yeah, they've got the Kestrels out, but the Kestrels aren't giving them the wins they need.
The Kestrels have done some nice play for them, but again, it's just not significant enough. Well, it's nice.
They're all in play, and really they had to catch PA Gods by surprise and then take an eco lead off the back of it, and they haven't, because they made their push for the island, they made the teleport rush. They're still sending troops through there, but they're not doing anything with the troops. They are literally just sitting there and dying. And it's just such a waste. They really got to do better with this. I mean, there's not like they have a huge army to be controlling. You think they
Pag are floating pretty hard right now.
You think they can spare the APM to look at what the Docs are doing on their teleporter? The PA gods now have complete control of the airspace, and I would say the map. This is looking like a gamble that really hasn't paid off for Jelly.
No, absolutely not. This is looking dire for them, in fact. I mean, look at the economy advantage, the sheer economy advantage that PA God have, and what have they got to show for it? Really, after all this, what have they got to show for it? They're supposed to have complete control of the air. PA Gods have got this massive air force now moving in, and what have they got to do against it? They've got a couple of these silly phoenixes just sat around. They've got nothing to show for their gamble at all.
Yeah, the PA Gods got the homebads out there. I think they've gone tier 2 air. I don't know that. Yeah, well, it's easy to say with hindsight that this wasn't a good move by them. I'm not sure really though that that Phoenixes were the way to go. I was thinking perhaps that tier 2 eco rush and then boom hard, but they haven't done that. And now they've got all these docks forces running around, but with loss of air control, your docks are so easy to shut down.
This map is just pink now, with this tiny little blob of white in the original spawn. The rest of the map has just been conceded. Yeah,
and we see now that Pico's even started to take metal points around the back of Jelly's base. They're winning the eco war so hard, they're floating massively now. They just can't spend it hard enough.
Yeah, I don't quite know what they would do. They've only built one tier 1 air factory to support it as well. They don't have enough tier 1. If they built some hummingbirds to support rather than phoenixes, I feel like they could have used the specialized T2 planes from the tier 2 factory and just built hummingbirds to support. But they didn't do that. They just sent out a few tier 2 unprotected, unescorted, and Pag just wiped the floor with them.
Well, it's been said that Tier 2 Air, I think probably this is something the Hello said, Tier 2 Air, to quote him, sucks. And I don't think that this game is going to really change the argument in favour of Tier 2 Air anytime soon. It just hasn't really paid off for them at all. It did seem for a short... Oh, in fact, it did seem for a short while that perhaps they could win it. They did some nice raids around the back. They definitely did some nice raids around the back. It was very good. But unfortunately, haven't managed to turn it into anything substantial. If they'd managed to take the island when they got the teleporter down, then perhaps we'll be talking a different story right now. But really, their invasion of this island was so half-hearted and so poorly coordinated. It was amazing to see that it was really amazing to think that we were watching the same players that had just been in the previous game.
And now we see a force coming through here. This commander could actually have a bit of a bad day with this, depending on how well he plays the Zuba cannons. That was okay.
He'll be fine. The Kestrel that's going to get shot straight down by the spinners. Just seeing land forces now just slowly making their way across the map.
And it is going to be a slow, grinding defeat here because I say that.
Well, with this air presence, so yeah, I think we might just see mass bombers because they own the air so totally. Finally, seeing Jelly deploying some docks out in numbers now across the water. I mean, they put down all those teleporters, and I'm not sure it was really necessary. You got a Pelican, you've got docks, you can just run across the water. But yeah, they didn't. They really got to put a teleporter down. You've got to get a presence there first before you just abandon it with a huge air force. Oh, indeed, PA Gods have now got their own tier 2 air, so any advantage the Jelly has is now completely gone.
Nothing they can do here. There's no way out of this. They've not got any forces particularly that can actually launch an offensive at all against PA Gods. They've got. Let's have a look at the army tab, shall we?
Well, a huge amount.
Actually, they have got 0 fabricators on the field right now.
The key about PA God's army is just fighters. I mean, they've locked down the air very effectively, but they've got no anti-ground capabilities. As you can see, that Jelly is just taking out this island with absolute impunity. There's nothing that PA Gods can do to stop them. They've got about 2 bombers in that whole force. Their bombers are now starting to roll out. They switched everything to bombers now because they realised there's no fighters anywhere on this map. They literally control the skies.
Well, that's good intel.
Yeah, just huge numbers of air factories being queued up by PA Gods now. They've got the deep space radar down just to stop any cheeky shenanigans from Jelly, but I don't see Jelly breaking out of this. They've got no edge. They've got their docks. Docks are going everywhere, but the air is just going to blow those docks to pieces. In fact, they may even be global patrolling them. That is how desperate they've got now. They've global patrolled the docks so they can be everywhere.
Have you seen what I've just seen? You know what you said earlier about how someone built a base behind you, didn't even notice?
PA gods have been building up on the back there. It's Jelly are just unable to contest these areas. That's the problem. But Jelly aren't even trying to contest them. They're global patrolling. But unfortunately, they are running into the issue where docks will try and attack things that are underwater. So global patrol is not going to be very effective for them on this map because those docks will stop by the underwater mechs. And they need to get themselves back on the shore again. And they need to be manually targeting as well, because these docks here, for example, are shooting down... There we go. Finally shooting the air fabbers, which is what they need to fire on, and not the laser turret. Oh, that's a bit of a cock up there by Jelly. Really should have shot down all those air fabbers, and that turret should never have been completed. We see now, just look at the number of docks they've got. They are everywhere. But...
Slowly shrinking.
They're punishing Peg for going for this huge air, that's great, but not very effective against huge numbers of tiny docks, and docks are now attacking Peg on every location. Peg, because they've got the tier 2 up now. And there we go, yep, Jelly are like, yeah, we can't do this, this isn't going to work. And we're getting the GGs thrown in. And I think really not that surprising.
No, at this point I don't quite see how they could possibly come back from that. There's another Alpha play.
Alpha decided to go for full quirk.
Like I said, it's just I feel like it could have potentially, if they had played it better, that could potentially have been quite a strong strategy on this map. But it just wasn't executed anywhere near as smoothly as I think they were hoping it would.
They did execute it poorly. It was fascinating to see, and they really got some nice wins around the back. Though you have to ask yourself, was the Kestrel, did the Kestrel really do much more than you'd have got out of, say, throwing, the equivalents in hummingbirds and bombers around there? Did it make much difference? It was a Kestrel and Phoenix. Not sure. But yeah, their island invasion was just terrible. Absolutely shockingly bad. They threw troops through the teleporter, and then apparently no one was waiting on the other side to do anything with them. They had enough fabbers through there that they could have easily built some AA to stop the bombers that came in, and they didn't. So we see there that Jelly go down. It's 2-1 to PA Gods, who now proceed through to the finals against Techno Trousers. And I've got to say, I'm liking PA Gods for this one. Techno Trousers are good, but I think PA Gods are better.
I don't know. I think it's going to depend on the maps. I feel like it's really going to depend on the maps.
Well, Techno Trousers do get the advantage because they are, due to the fact that they're the first team to get through to the final, they are going to be they are going to get to choose the first map, and thereafter in the finals best of 5 rather than best of 3. But thereafter it's going to be whoever loses who gets to choose the map. But first map will be chosen by Techno Trousers because they got through quicker.
Excellent.
So it'd be interesting to see what they choose, and I would say that against PA Gods, maybe better off choosing something a smaller map. So definitely say it's not going to favour air. I think if it's too large, too spread out, PA Gods are just going to play better because they've got a higher APM. They're going to be everywhere. You want something that's allowed to focus into a smaller space. Okay, you get to choose a map against PA Gods. What map would you choose?
Realm Prime.
What map would you choose for the tournament?
For this tournament?
Yes.
I have to choose from one of the maps that we've already played, essentially.
Yes. What map do you think you would choose?
I'd probably go for the Dr. X one.
Oh, the Professor X?
That's the one. Professor X.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky to choose. I think Klops is very happy on Professor X. So on the other hand, I've had some positive experiences against the one that said Professor X might be a good one to choose, and I think it feels like a relatively simple one to play and understand. So that could be a good choice. I think maybe maybe Ice Madness as well. I feel a lot happier on that map these days. I feel like you can push hard with tanks and do really well on that one, and it looks like a confusing map. Oh, I'm just looking at them moving all the units through the teleporter again, and it's just shameful. It's just shameful. I mean, they were already way behind in the economy at that point, but then that was the only way they were going to come back into it, and they never really do.
It's just that was just inexcusable for this level of play. I would not expect that at all.
Even then, PA Gods they've got units everywhere. I think the Phoenixes are nice, but there was just so much expansion going on from PA Gods. It didn't matter. They had so many factories up. Like what, 19 to 11 at the 9-minute mark. It's just the hummingbirds were just everywhere. Yeah, yeah. Pretty strong play. It was a nice gamble, exciting to see. It did not pay off at all, and probably not really well implemented, I'd say. It feels actually like what something they came up with on the spot. I wonder if they practiced that.
That they wouldn't have done it.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. It didn't feel practiced, or at least not practiced against someone who went as heavy air as PA Gods did. And then there's this move with the docks where they just spread them out all over the field. That was definitely a very desperate measure.